Hello world! Once again, it is Thorne Green here, saying hello! These are ThorneStories. Driving home on the turnpike, Jersey Turnpike. It is Good Friday, which means an exorbitant amount of shitty drivers. But I got past most of that traffic on the Palisades Parkway. Did a little different on the way home today, but anyway, no more GW, no more George Washington Bridge, no more Rhode Island, no more up north. I'm having a baby in 16 days. So I planned my entire schedule around staying at home in Philadelphia. Giddy up. That starts on this beautiful Good Friday. This Thorne story, I just want to talk to you today about. So I'm a huge fan of the Joe Rogan Experience, the Joe Rogan podcast. Long-time listener, first-time referencer, new to YouTube. I usually film these live, can't do it anymore. I just hit the live button, really because I like the thumbnail, and then I like coming up with the title while I'm, at a rest stop, going to the bathroom, and then leaving, and then I record these in the car on the way home. Usually towards the second half or the second leg of my trip. Well, anyway, I listened to an entire 2.5 hours of Adam Conover on the Joe Rogan Experience. I have seen every episode of Adam Ruins Everything. I'm a huge proponent of the show. I love Adam Ruins Everything. As far as a show goes for factual information, I can't stand that fucking nerd on the show, Adam Conover. But I love the concept. In theory, it's a great show if he didn't act like such a high-pitched, effeminate fucking nuisance, liberal fucking weirdo, which, okay, so he's on the show, and I'm like, oh my God, two favorite things right now. Well, anyway, before I get ahead of myself, this particular talk, as I am approaching my home on the Jersey Turnpike, you figure I got 56 minutes according to the GPS. I'm going to take up half that time by doing this, especially since I can't go live anymore because I don't meet the qualifications. I don't have 1,000 viewers or subscribers. Fuck. I hope I do get there one day. But before I go any further, I do want to say thank you. CTC Vacations. Check them out. www.ctcvacations.com. I just posted a meme on our Facebook page. If you are like me, you spend $10 a day on lunch. That's $300 in a month. That's $900 in 3 months. And I posted, all I just said was, the meme is a joke. I got it from my buddy Dan Stevens. And I pulled it and I put our little CTC Vacations on it. So shout out to whoever made it. But anyway, it makes you think. It says, you can afford to vacation. You just don't like making sandwiches. So for the price of fucking sandwiches, you can take a vacation. And then I broke it down even just one step further. The whole thing says, the only thing that this little ad says. And I want you to listen to the impact of CTC Vacations with just this statement, okay? All I commented on there was, hold on. All I commented on this thing was, and keep in mind, I like to do this live, so there's gonna be pauses like this, even though I guess if I wasn't driving and gonna post this immediately, I could edit these out. I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, fuck do you get on the page? CTC Vacations. Go to their Facebook page at CTC Vacations. It'll come up, Corporate Travel Concierge. Gold and black logo. Okay. All I wrote is here. It says, we have week-long condos in 46 states, including Hawaii, California, New York, including Manhattan, Florida, including Disney resorts, and the Caribbean, for under $900 per unit per week. That's not per person, not per night, not per bedroom. That's per unit for the whole week. Make sandwiches the next month and you got your fucking flight there. Now you and your whole family can go on vacation. Don't like to fly? A bag of groceries, a tank of gas, cook some meatballs, bring the pot, throw it in the back seat and go. That is strong as death. But Thorne, if you're so good and you can get any resort anywhere, why only 46 states? That's a good question. Because Kansas, North Dakota, South Dakota, there's no fucking resorts in these places. So I'll put you into 10,000 hotels in each one of those states, but at a discount. But I can't build a condo where there aren't any, okay? So those of you that want a vacation in Overland Park or Topeka, God bless you, all right? I'll rent you an RV for half of what you would on your own through CTC Vacations. Giddy up. So anyway, CTC Vacations, I just want to talk to you about that briefly. All right. See, this would be one of those things I would typically edit out, but I can't edit out. So because it's live, here's my fiance, Miss Olivia, who is 9 months pregnant right now. Okay, say hi.
Hi.
So I'm shooting a video. You're about the 1,000th person, but anyway.
Okay, clear.
All right. So anyway, love her to death, but keep getting phone calls. We have dinner reservations in an hour and a half. It's my mom's birthday, so giddy up. I got her a big picture of Bodie framed. It's my son. Anyway, I'm loving life right now. Let me just tell you this story real quick. I'm not going to take up too much of your time here, okay? This is called Adam Conover shitting on him because he fucking sucks even more now that I got to listen to him. So when I hear this podcast, oh, I love Joe Rogan. Oh, I love Adam Ruins Everything. Can't stand this guy, but when he does those little segments on the end, so I'm just going right in. But when he goes to those segments on the end of this, right? He is himself. He's a more genuine version of himself. So you see him firsthand, you know, without the prissy little fucking, you know, bullshit he does with his voice. And it's kind of like this. He even makes fun of himself on this podcast. So I'm like, okay, all right, this he is a true, genuine person. Maybe he has his own, you know, I don't know. Anyway, so he starts out with, you know, saying shit. He then drops an F-bomb or two. I'm like, this guy, okay. The dichotomy behind his thought process and the fact that he's on a popular, arguably the most popular podcast, and obviously hasn't listened to any of the last 40 fucking episodes. Because keep in mind, I love Joe Rogan Experience. I skip all the time. I pick the people I like. On the way up to Rhode Island, I listen to Kevin Hart. On the way back, I see Adam Conover. Okay, great. I don't know that many fucking things about the UFC. Although, on it, shout out to my boy Shane Faison, FightTips.com. He was just invited to that On It thing that Joe Rogan talks about. But anyway, neither here nor there. So Adam Conover is on there. He doesn't fucking pay attention, obviously, to the biggest podcast where he's actually on. He's coming up with, like, arguments that have already been squashed. He's naming his future podcast or segment or whatever about these parasites that can take over your behavior and control. Joe Rogan talks about that fucking every other podcast. He's bringing up things that have already been talked about, but not only talked about, he's bitching that he's only got 6 minutes to talk about something on a podcast that's 2.5 hours long. But more importantly, I bring that up because this podcast is 2.5 hours long, and Joe Rogan has real fucking experts in that field who are like the paragon of that field. And he'll bring them on and show them, and then Adam has the fucking nerve to say, well, you know, I'm really kind of the only guy in my field who is, you know, I'm really the only kind of guy in my field who does educational. And then I bring it facts. You're going to learn something, and you're going to laugh because I'm a comic. Motherfucker, this is the only episode of Joe Rogan I haven't laughed at because you ain't a fucking comic. If you are, I'm not a comic. But I know that. You're a fucking nerd who I thought I could enjoy, listening to. I was aggravated. Now, granted, I may have a chip on my shoulder about this because he sounded, this is Adam Conover, sounded just like my future mother-in-law, okay? And, well, I'll just put it forward. I can't stand when people think they're the smartest person in the room and speak to be heard rather than speak to respond. What I mean by that is he doesn't listen. The good Lord blessed you with 2 ears and 1 mouth. So maybe when Joe Rogan, who has the experts there, maybe you shut the fuck up, listen to him, because maybe he knows a little bit more on some things than your bullshit true TV show that you fucking pitched from College Humor that's been around for 4 years and might have a tenth of the fucking following. Might. So anyway, that brings me on to my next subject, transgenders in sports. This was a topic they annoyed the fuck out of me about because it was drawn out for an hour and 20 minutes of the conversation when, in my opinion, and I'd love to be on Joe Rogan one day, but in my opinion, all Joe had to say was putting a biological male into a competitive biological female sport such as weightlifting, wrestling, things of that nature, okay? It doesn't make any sense for the fact that you wouldn't volunteer a woman or a biological female and put her as a fucking lineman in a football team. Oh, but trans women are equal to trans men. Great! Where the fuck's the list of them signing up to play on the fucking football team? We always heard once in a while that girl in grade school or high school who wanted to play for the all-boys hockey team. I commend her. Great. But we have a problem when she's on the team, not because, oh, it's a girl and it's a guy's sport. Fuck that. No, it's because I'm going to knock her into the fucking, into the wall. I'm going to check her across the fucking ice. And I don't want to hurt a girl. That's why I have a problem. But you mean to tell me someone who has 30 years of shooting fucking testosterone, or worse, they didn't do anything, they were just a biological male for 30 years? He can come in and he can wrestle someone who's biologically been a woman for 30 years? Now he's got 100 pounds on her, or maybe they're the same weight. But the bone density, the quickness, this isn't, it should, and I like how Adam actually brought up the one thing, which he does. He's a smart guy. But don't pretend to be the smartest guy in the room. You need objective facts, and you need, Adam Conover speaking to you need to be in a room with a bunch of researchers, and you need to stop saying, off the top of my head, off the top of my head, off the top of my head, off the top of my head. Motherfucker, you're using that word or that phrase wrong. Off the top of my head means, off the top of my head, I'm going to use a round figure here. Let's just round it to 100, all right? It might be somewhere, who the fuck knows, but we can all just say and go from there and use that as part of an equation. You are afraid to say the phrase, my opinion. It's okay to have an opinion. You need to understand that most of the bullshit that you pontificated on this podcast was just your opinion and co-signing the opinion of your trans friends. And great for you to shout them out, on a great platform. I'm sure their research is phenomenal and factual. But listen to what Uncle Joey was saying, okay? He was just saying, yes, if you have air fucking shooting, that doesn't fucking matter. That's a fair sport. Yes, if you have fucking horse dancing, well, that might be a fucking fair sport. I don't know enough about it. But I'm pretty sure wrestling, okay? Let me put it to you like this. You brought up fucking, oh, well, it's a predominantly female, and I love how Joe didn't even acknowledge it was a fucking sport. Which gymnastics, it is a sport for sure, but it's not a competitive, well, it is competitive, but unlike like they mentioned basketball where you have to do more than one thing and you have the constant attack, meaning you have to constantly be aware of the other things going around. It's not a routine. It's not a practice or it's not a routine or a trial. This is something where you are competing at a physical level. And if you're physically bigger, I guarantee if I tried out for the fucking cheerleading team, I can throw a flyer, okay, one of those 60-pound fucking girls, a lot higher than a biological fucking woman if I put on some fucking Goldilocks. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So I'm not saying that there's no male cheerleaders. I'm just saying, okay, maybe that's their role in that fucking sport, right? Maybe that's why there's male cheerleaders in there, so they can do the physical shit. He kept saying, sports were made for men. No, dick. Hence the reason we have a female basketball team and a male basketball team. And this was really just in my opinion. I thought of this while I was watching or listening to all this as I'm driving, and he doesn't let you get a word in, so it just was running through me. Everything is but and my point, and you can use this arbitrary one-time thing, but really, it's just that doesn't happen all that often. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? You gotta say yes, you're right, in order to fucking start your sentence that he's not gonna listen to. I can't stand people like that. Anyway, the only thing that would shut this argument down, all right, Uncle Joey, is, I like calling you that, I'm sorry. Maybe you'll watch this one day, I have no idea. But the only thing that I would just, the analogy I would use, and it is not politically correct by any means, but if you put me in the Special Olympics, and you guys brought up the the Paralympics or whatever, but if you put me in the Special Olympics and told me to run the fucking 500-meter dash with a bunch of guys who can't count the 500, I guarantee I'd fucking get there first. I'm not biologically challenged, but I can identify as one, I guess, that day, and I'll fucking win and break records. What's the fucking record for number of, I don't know, things I gotta jump over? I guarantee I'll fucking win eventually. What's the fucking, at the Special Olympics, I guarantee, and I love the Special Olympics. I've been to them, have friends who have family who are in them, refed at them. They love to hug and stop in the middle of the fucking competition. I wouldn't do that. So biologically, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna fucking win. And if I say, okay, Joe Rogan mentioned, there are people who would actually cut their fucking legs off if they came out with bionic legs. I 1000% agree with that. Well, Adam, you really think there were fucking, you think people would actually do that? Motherfucker, I know people who break their fucking fingers to go to the hospital so they can get a fucking pain pill. Yes, if you told me I could run 45 miles a fucking hour, I'd probably chop my own fucking legs off, okay? Why wouldn't you? All right. And so, if you had a contact lens that fucking could read any language in the fucking world, would you put it in? Why not? It's an advantage. So to say and sit there and say that there is no competitive advantage, you're out of your fucking mind. And And then you go back and forth. Like, I always think, what did he say earlier? And fucking with children with testosterone and boosters and hormones, you're out of your mind. If you're doing that to kids, you should be locked the fuck up. If you want your kid, who is biologically a boy, if my son said, Dad, I think I'm a girl, okay, no problem. You can wear dresses, you can do your nails, you can do whatever, and when your mind is finished functioning or finished developing, when you're old enough to make choices as an adult for yourself, which I'll chalk up as 18 years old. 18, if you can smoke, if you can start killing yourself with smoke or military or fucking anything else, you can start making decisions for yourself. How's that? So either change military and fucking smoking to 25 or 21, change it all to 25 or 21, because that's when the mind really is done developing. Or, well, then when you're 18, you're an adult. So change everything to fucking 18. Pick one. Stick with it. Move on. But if you're going to inject fucking children with shit, that's ridiculous. And for the argument to be, well, I felt like I was a girl my whole life, and and then Joe saying, well, a lot of, these people, they didn't have the affluence or the advantage to get fucking hormones and shit, which I'm sure are very expensive. I have no idea, but I assume that they're not free. Well, and then, they become a gay man or a gay woman, or, and they didn't have the operation done, or they weren't post-op, but they identified and they moved forward, or maybe they just became gay. Whatever the fuck it may be. But in my opinion, okay, if you think you're a woman and you're born a man, I have no problem with you dressing like a woman from an early age, being a woman, identifying as a woman, using the fucking woman's bathroom, do all that shit. But to say, you should, they should have the ability, fuck out of here. That's like saying a flat-chested chick in 8th grade when everybody else around her has some titties growing, okay, that she should get a boob job because she identifies as a hotter fucking girl. Where the fuck's that come in at? Where do we draw the line? So, long story short, I mean, I love the podcast. I'm sure this won't even be watched or read, but by Joe or Adam. Maybe they will. That'd be cool. Hi, if you are. Adam, I gotta say, I'll still watch the show. I'm a huge fan of the show. And I tell people, I've probably told hundreds of people to watch your show. I just say ignore the fucking just bitch that runs the fucking show. Even if you were yourself, you'd still be so much of a bitch that I wouldn't like the fucking you in the show. But I'd still respect the facts of the show, the arguments made in the show, and the research and due diligence done for the show. It's just that God, my stepmother, by the way, I'm sorry, my stepmother, my fucking future mother-in-law. She's one of those, anyway, it's not my choice. But something up here doesn't quite, can't understand normal thinking. How's that? Anyway. So that's all I really wanted to touch on today, was those 3 things, and shout out to CTC Vacations. Number 1 was, I love Joe Rogan's podcast. I've learned a ton from it. More than 3 seasons that I've watched of Adam Ruins Everything. A hell of a lot more. Better research or due diligence done by the people on Joe Rogan's Experience. These are actually experts in their field who have also written books. I like how that was said. I like how you corrected yourself, Adam, and said, not that I'm saying, I went to college, so therefore I voted for Donald Trump. But, most people with a BA or higher, that's the way they tend to go. Are you out of your fucking mind? Okay. Pro-Trump, hate Trump, don't give a fuck. But I can guarantee this. If you look at that map, where only the city of Philadelphia, the city of fucking Detroit, the city of Chicago, and the state of California, and Manhattan, those are the only fucking blue parts of the whole fucking country. Oh, the city of Austin? Okay, if those are the fucking little blue dots I see, and the rest of the country, you mean to tell me the rest of this fucking country doesn't have a bachelor's education? A bachelor's degree? You're out of your fucking mind. Because I drove across country I've driven across country 6 times. How's that? There's an actual a fact, a figure. So I've seen thousands of college campuses. Most of them, in my opinion, are bullshit. Meaning, there's some, way for you to spend. I went to St. Joe's, right? St. Joe's was like, oh my God, we're going to give you $15,000 a year to come to our school. You're an academic scholarship. That's amazing. Okay, so what do I got to pay? It should be free, right? You give me a scholarship? Oh no, we gave you half off. Half off of fucking 30 is still $15,000 a semester. Are you out of your fucking mind? And I use the word fucking, by the way, for those of you that are CTC followers and things like that, or have seen me before, and as in a professional light, okay, I use fucking because I don't use the word or term GD, which is God darn, I don't like using God's name, but anyway, so I'd rather say fucking than GD, but anyway, but are you out of your fucking mind? So, Liv keeps calling me. We got dinner reservations in now a couple minutes. I'm a lot closer than I thought I was going to be. All these happy Easter idiots that were driving in Jersey earlier have dwindled, thank God. That's North Jersey for you. South Jersey's not so bad. I love CTC vacations. Love the Joe Rogan Experience. Forget where I lost my train of thought. Keep getting phone calls nonstop. Love you guys. Subscribe below. Check out the Joe Rogan Experience. Thank you for letting me talk about him and vent about this. Check out Adam Ruins Everything. It's an incredible show. You got to get past the fucking bitchy, annoying guy who runs it. It's crazy. Someone should choose the F word that you're not allowed to say anymore. But I grew up in Philly where people say it all the time. It doesn't mean anything. But I got 4 gay cousins who use it. 4. They're brothers. But anyway, neither here nor there. It's like a Philly term, but I'm not allowed to use it on here because it'd be bad. But anyway, just get past him. Check out Adam Ruins Everything. Check out the Joe Rogan Experience. Check out everything. Just enjoy life. Enjoy your Easter. Again, having a baby. Blessed beyond my wildest dreams. Love what I do. Love being able to talk to you. And I don't know if anyone watches this, but one day you all will. How's that? So, thank you.